So first input type equal to text. So ID equal to first number. Okay, close. Similar way, we have to do the copy paste. Second number. Okay, so here we will provide second number. Okay, so finally, I want to display the result into one text field, right? So input type equal to text. So then I want to provide a result. Okay, so these are the things we have to take it. So these all things I want to provide. So inside the printer, it will display one by one. Okay, so now what we have to do it. So now I want to create the buttons, right? So for addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, but I don't want to do multiplication, division and all those things. I will try to do addition and subtraction here. So input type equal to, so button, so value equal to add. You can use button tag also, no issues. On click equal to addition operation or add operation. Check the naming convention also. That is very important. So the similar way, sub operation. Sub button. Fine. So these are the things we have to do it. So after that, we will give them buttons. So we will check it out. So how it looks like. Yeah. So some add is there, sub is there. If you want to display, you can display side by side. Okay, coding wise, it looks good, right? So that's why. So now I want to go for the script tag. So inside the script tag, so I want to write the function. So add operation. So similar to function. Sub operation we have to provide, right? So inside the add operation, so inside the add operation, so whether that function is calling or not, we have to check it out. So console.log. So otherwise we will display the values, right? So first we need to retrieve the values. So where, so first num equal to document dot, so get element by ID of, so first number dot value. So whatever the ID would be there, based on this ID, I'm retrieving input element. So from JavaScript, I'm storing into one variable. Similar way, so I want to copy and paste it for the, so second number. And here we have to provide the second number dot value. So finally we got the two values. So console.log first num comma second num. Okay, similar way. Okay, we will do the operation instead of that one. First num plus second num, similar to, so first num minus second num. So if you want to convert into number, so then what we have to do? So we have to do it. So number of or parse or parse float. Okay, so we have to provide. So the same thing would be applicable for all the remaining things. if you observe here, some duplication of code is available, right? So every time we are getting, so the document.getElement by ID, so document.getElement by ID, if you write null and division also, we have to write again these two values, so again these two values, we have to write it. So total 4 times we are writing. So why we have to write 4 times? So we can keep it, these two values somewhere else. We have to retrieve those values, right? So, but we are doing duplication of code. First, we will check it out whether it is working or not. So based upon that, we will modify the code. Refresh, F12, console. So, okay, 2, 3. So add 6 is working, sub -2 is working. Okay, so functionality wise it's working, but we need to manage a little bit more. So here, first what I'm trying to do, so I want to, so these two values, I want to keep it on top. So I'm trying to display console.log here, right? So will it works fine? No, it will not work. See, check it out. So if you pass 3, if you pass 4, so it will give 0. Why, you know? So because, so whenever we have to run the program, so from top to bottom, so it will execute all these things, right? So while executing these things, so it will initially, this text field value is empty, blank. So because, so it will execute line by line, line by line. So it will execute, but we did not click any button. So without clicking button, how it will go inside? It will not call this function. So just it will read this one, then it will come to here. So then it will come to here. So document.getElement by ID of first number dot value, it will give blank value because initially it would be like this. If you convert that blank value into number, then it will be converted into 0. So that 0 value will store here. Okay, so again here 0, so that 0 plus 0, 0 is displaying. When? So if you write variables like this, so when these values will should call, so inside the function, once we provide the data, then we need to execute these 2 lines of code, right? So for that, so listen carefully. If you understand this point, so we can play with internal JavaScript. So now what I am trying to do, function, so get numbers, I'm writing one common method or get variable sometime. So get numbers, what is this? So get numbers method. So inside the get numbers, you have to provide a curly brace. So listen carefully, this syntax is very important. That's it. So now again, one issue here. Sir, if you write get numbers of inside first number and second number, so these values would be applicable within this function only, right? So even though if you call this function inside this one, right, get numbers. So this is function inside another function calling, right? It's working directly without creating adds functions. Which one? This one. No. So if you write it like this, then you have to write duplicate code, right? We have to write twice. So I don't want to write twice. Even I need to write only single time. Then how it works? So by default, it will execute. So default values blank will be there. So how it works? It doesn't work. Okay, I will check with your code. Wait, let me explain first. Okay, get numbers. I'm getting so these values. right? So, but still, if you call this get numbers, so we will get these values. But so these all are local to the this particular function, right? These all are not global, so local to this function. Similar way, I'm trying to call here also. Okay, so now check it out. So 4, 5, so add. So first num is not defined because so these all are local variables to this particular function. If you want to global, then what we have to do? So this is recommended in real time. So first we have to define the variable outside the function, first number, comma, second number. So then, so we have to initialize the latest values. So this is the way we have to use in real time. Okay. So now we will check it out. It will work. I will explain once again. Don't worry. Just listen first. 7 minus 1. Okay. So now what I want to do, I don't want to display here. I want to display here, right? So for that, what we have to do? So document dot get element by ID of, so that result ID is result dot, so that is input field, right? So if it is input field by default, so HTML value placeholder, these are the two attributes are available. So placeholder is nothing but just for a hint we will use it. So value it will carry forward, right? So that value I'm trying to do a plus b. So that result, or otherwise, so you can provide so where add result equal to so a plus b. So that add result we have to provide here, but unnecessarily one more variable we are using. So if you use one extra variable, it will occupy the memory, right? So try to avoid so variables. Okay, a plus b. Similar way for subtraction operation. So a minus b. That's it. Okay, now check it out. 4, 5, add. Oh, something A is not defined. So where is
So
A?
we have to mention first number and second number, right?
Yeah, I have given A. Actually, we need to give the variable names A, B I have given. So I thought A, B, but here first number minus second number. So generally for addition, A plus B we will give, right? So that's why I have given. Okay, fine. Now it works fine. So something
Sir, you
for
have written first number minus first number.
10 subtraction. Oh, subtraction again wrong. Something we missed. First number minus second number. Yeah, so this is the way you have to do the things. Okay, now someone told who is that guy. So cancel first display dot value form dot display result dot value for A. So what you are doing, so using, so passing the parameters and all those things we are doing, right? So let me know how it was working directly without creating add sub functions. So what you did here, just you are calling function, you are passing something there, but I'm asking without passing any parameters, right? So that is different way. So what I'm telling here, so if I call without passing any parameters, so then how to get it those values I'm discussing here, right? So, but you are saying, so function with parameters, so that would be later we will discuss, right? Okay, fine. So he has given some other idea, not this approach. Okay, so fine. So if you do this one, so then we can do the in real time. So if you want to get it any values, so if you want to avoid duplication of those values, so then keep it in somewhere and we have to call that method and we have to access. Okay, so this is the way we have to do it. So, and moreover, so we are not using any form name or we are not using any name attributes here, right? So simply we are doing by using ID attribute. So without using form name, so without using name attribute also. So we will discuss separately what is form name, so what is name attribute and all those things we will discuss later. Okay, we are going slowly one by one. Just a second. Okay, so now someone is been share the program in chat. Oh, sorry. So you have to do the multiplication. Oh, sorry, single person I have shared. So you have to do the multiplication and division also, and moreover you have to apply the styles for this. Okay, so I did not apply any styles here. Okay, yeah, fine. So now we will go for the third example, function with parameters and return statement. So I'm going one by one. So try to understand each and everything. Okay, so function with parameters and so return statement. So first one is simple function converting string to number. Second one, so we have created so like addition operation and subtraction operation. So how to retrieve the values, then how to do the operations, right? Simple addition, subtraction, multiplication, division operations using global variables. So now third one we are using so function with parameters and so return statement. Okay, so how to do it? For example, function add operation. I'm providing first info, second info, second number and first number. Okay, so here, so generally, whenever we have to do add operation, okay, so I'm sending 2, 3. But once we call that method, so we need to store somewhere else, right? So generally, we have done till now, so console.log first num plus second num. Can we do it here? Conversion of so number of first number and number of second number not required because this is JavaScript. We are sending only numbers only. But at the time of input text field, we are getting string values. So that's why we are converting. So here we are sending only numbers only. No need to convert. If you send 2 here, so then you have to send, sorry. So then you have to convert into, so what is that? Percent or password or number of, okay? Or otherwise that is number only, no need to convert here again, number of first number. Fine. So, but here in real time, so at the time of calling this function, so do we need to print the values? So for that reason, so inside the function, we should not print any values in real time. So outside the function, so we need to retrieve the value, but not inside the function. So, but every function return some result that is, so here, so if you call that function, we will return, that function will return something if you call that function. So what is that return? So we are doing operation, that value it will return. So return first number plus second number. If you want to do it, so you can take it one more variable. So actually not required. So where add result. So first num, So generally, if you are not means without knowing any knowledge, so if you are more to the programming, so then try to do it initial stage like this only. Okay, so later stage, so you can avoid once we practice. The persons who knows already programming, so directly they can write like this. Okay, so or otherwise go for step by step, otherwise you will get confused. So remaining members, they know, don't care about those guys. Okay, so just think about yourself. Okay, I don't know programming, I'm learning each and everything from scratch. So try to learn like this. So just I'm doing operation, so that operation result we are storing into one variable, so this is the result, so that result we are returning, right? So this function returns this result. So if you pass different parameter values, so here I'm passing 2 comma 3. So one more value if you pass, so 4 comma 5 something, but so will it give the value? No, right? So here also did not write any console.log. Here also we did not write any console.log. So then what we have to do? So console.log of and result. So this is also similar. So if you don't want to print like this, so if you understand it's okay, fine, or otherwise, so we have to write outside, so add result to equal to, so like sum to equal to, you can write it. So then you can write console.log sum 2. So either you can do like this directly or otherwise. So if you call this function with parameter values, so we will get some result. That result I'm storing into sum2. So that sum2 I'm trying to print. So this is actually so normal approach to writing program. So for easy to understand program. So I told you, right? So if you want to write single line, so you can write return first number plus second number. So directly console.log add operation of 4 comma 5. If you're a first time programmer, then you have to do it like this. So this is function with the parameters and return statement. Okay, so you need to understand one by one, step by step. Okay, copy. Okay, fine, script and tag is there. So is font size is okay, or do I need to increase the font size? It's fine, huh? It's okay. Okay, fine. Yeah, so now refresh. So here, so how much we got it? So 4 comma 5, 9 we got it. So if you do the same thing, so here individually directly also console.log. So we can do the add operation of 2 comma 3. Otherwise something as you wish. So 2 comma 3 5. So you can call this approach or this approach. So this function is reusability of code, right? So this code would be common. So but while invocation of that function, so we can change the values. Based on that values, we will get the different results. So this is nothing but function with parameters along with return statement. Okay, so next one is anonymous function expression. These all are functions, how to use it. So anonymous function expressions. So how to call this anonymous function expression, we have already discussed. So first we have to write function. Okay, So I'm writing same example, first env, second env, but normally I'm writing now one word shortcuts. So I don't want to write again where result equal to first number plus second number return result. So we have seen already one time, right? No one words we have to use. So directly second number. But how to call this function? So it's impossible, right? We know we have already discussed. So we can pass this function as a parameter of another function. So that is nothing but callback function. So, and also we can use, so this anonymous functions at the time of self-invoking or immediately invoked function expression. But normally we can't invoke directly anonymous functions, but we can call this function if you assign to the one variable. So this function is nothing but anonymous function expression. Okay, so how to call this function? Just so we have to write add of something 2 comma 3. Same story. So we have to provide console.log add of 2 comma 3. So that result will store. So why we have to write one extra variable here? Where? So add result. So add of, this is the way of communication. We have to add of 2 comma 3. So this is the way of calling anonymous function expression. But why we have to write variable here? So maybe this variable to the input to the other function. For example, where so my save operation something. Okay, so here, okay, let me provide another function. Function save operation. Okay, so here that add result is the input to the other function. So then we have to store it into variable. So that variable means this function result input to the other function. Okay, so something x. So this function output to the another function input. So that's why we have to store it into one variable. Okay, so that is the reason, or otherwise if you want to check it here only for result, so you can write console.log. Just try to understand here. So later the stage, how it works. So what we have to do with result, we will learn, don't worry. So just how to write the function. So how to call that function. If you provide the parameters, how, if you provide the written statement, how. So if it is anonymous function expression, if it is a named function expression, how to call those function. We are learning all these approaches. Okay, fine. So here add of 2 comma 3, finally we will get the so 5 result. If you want, we can check it out. 5 is coming. Okay, so that 5 value 2 comma 3 we are sending, and it is displaying 5 comma 3. Okay, somewhat better. Yeah, so this is the way we have to do the anonymous function expression example. So next one is the so recursive function. Okay, so what is recursive function? So recursive function is a function that calls itself. So earlier we have discussed about named function expression, right? So did you remember? So where add equal to function add operation. So a comma b. So then how to call this one? Return a plus b. So we know the similar to the anonymous function expression. That's why I did not explain. But don't worry, we will use indirectly this thing. How to call this function? Add. So 2 comma 3. So this is the approach, but so this is useless outside that function. But if you want to use this function inside the function, we can use it. So that scenario is nothing but recursive function. Okay. Okay, fine. So now what we have to do, let me write one small thing. And before that, so recursive function is a function that follows. I have a little bit throat pain, so that's why I'm speaking a little bit slow. Okay, try to increase your volumes, laptop volumes. Yeah, so now, so what we have to do, so let me take it as so some factorial related thing. Okay, so function compute factorial. So I'm writing factorial. So I'm writing, so compute factorial related things. This is named function expression, right? So how to call this function? So with the reference variable, but not with compute factorial function. So I want to do the, so factorial dynamically, we have to pass number. So factorial 5, factorial 6, factorial 3, something. Okay, so if you want, we have to store it into result variable and console.log result, or otherwise console.log factorial of 5, we can use it. Okay, so now what is the logic? So this is normally, so named function expression. How to call, we know, but we need to write the logic here, right? So what is the logic we have to write it? If, okay, so if, so that number may be, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but if it is 1 or less than or equal to 1, then what we have to do it? So less than or equal to 1. So then we have to run. I'm using simple programming. Okay, so we can avoid that curly braces if you write only single line of code. So written 1. Okay, so we do not have any other conditions. So that's why we will write directly. So else condition. So how to write it? So else return. So you have to write, so number. So what is the something 5 factorial? So we have to write 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So that is the 5 factorial, right? Similar way, we will write the programming logic here. So if it is 5 factorial, 5 into compute factorial of 4. So again, 5 into 4, compute factorial of 3. So 5 into 4 into 3, compute factorial of 2. Like that we are writing. So for that, so we are calling, so internally that function. So that's why, so recursive function is a function that calls itself. We are calling, so this function, so inside this block, not outside. Compute factorial of, so here this is, suppose for example we are passing 5, so that 5 into, so then compute factorial of 5 minus 1, so number minus 1. That's it, that is the logic. So now, so next time 5 into 4 into compute factorial of 4 minus 1, right? 3. Similar to 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, it will give the 120. So that 120 will store here. So that 120 we are printing. Okay, we will check it out. Okay, save. So 120 is coming. So if you write 6, then 7 something, 720. Okay. So this is the way. So just check it out. I will come within 1 minute. Just I will bring water. So you can think about this program. So how to optimize this code? Just think about this code. I will come within 1 minute. Yeah, fine. So how many lines of code we have written here, right? Too many lines of code, right? So how to reduce this one? So just if you write inside the if condition, so we can avoid the curly braces. So we can avoid the curly braces. So we have reduced the number of lines of code, right? Okay, if you want this code, you can write it simple approach. So this is recommended to learning code. Later you can optimize. So do not go for optimization code initial stage. Okay, once you know the programming, then you can go for optimized code. So remove the, so what is that? So curly braces, because in the if condition, only one statement is there, we can avoid the curly braces same way else. So this is the optimization code. The same code we can write within the single line. How? Okay, so let me explain here. So simple thing we can use, we have already discussed at the time of ternary operator, same as what if else do, the same thing we can do by using ternary operator, right? So we will write the same thing, just remove this one. So this is the function. So just write return only single line of code. So return, so n less than or equal to 1. So n means here number. So number less than or equal to 1. So this is a condition or expression. If condition or expression is true, then it will display first one. If it is not, then you have to write the next one. So then number, so into compute factorial of number minus 1. That's it. So same story, but within the single line we have managed by using ternary operator. Okay, so just save, click on that, same 720. If you give 5 factorial, same 520 something. sorry, 120. Okay, so this is the way we have to optimize the code. Okay, so not only these things, we have multiple approaches would be there. So you can use any one of the approaches. Okay, so fine. So now we will develop one so real-time calculator. Okay, so or otherwise, so I will give you homework for the real-time calculator. So you can try today. So then I will explain tomorrow. Same as like this, but I will give you the so just diagram. You can try. So we have multiple approaches would be there, but do not think about, okay, this is correct way, we can do this approach, this is better way. So that is also another approach. Think like that. Okay. So this is calculator. Okay. So I will give you the hint. You have to do this assignment. Okay. Just let me draw like this whole. Okay, fine. So generally what's happening here, so I want to create different buttons here. So let me create 4 buttons. So you can take table, so you can understand easily this one. So these all are buttons. I'm writing a little bit fast. So here, so what's happening? So this is one table row, this is another table row, table row, table row, table row. So each and every button is one table D. But then what is this one? So this whole thing is table row, but I have combined so 3 columns. So this is one column, this is another column, this is another column. I have combined 3 columns. So for that, so inside the table, if you combine 3 columns, then we have to use call span. How many columns you have combined? So 3 columns. That's why call span equal to 3. So if you combine rows, then we have to use row span equal to 3 to based on how many columns or how many rows, right? So here you can write a placeholder. So don't write value. So this text field we have to mention and you have to provide the result. If it is a placeholder, it will display gray color. Okay, if you type something, then it will start from starting onwards. If it is value, then it will append. Okay, fine. So this one and here, make it fast, clear. So this is 1, 2. So common, this is 1. Try it tomorrow. So then I will explain clearly tomorrow. Don't worry. So here some slash would be there. Similar way, we have to provide 4, 5, 6, some minus 7, 8, 9, some equal to a plus symbol here. Equal to would be here. Equal to and star into. Okay. So here we have to provide so dot 0 here. That's it. So you can provide 0 here, but normal calculator, it looks like this. If you want to change these things, you can change it, no issues. Okay, but clear should be here. And as you wish, these special symbols you can keep anywhere as you wish. But real-time calculator, it looks like this one, that's why. Yeah, so just try to create. So what is this one? Just created the table. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. And first table row, I have created a text field. So remaining all are buttons. Okay, so try to apply CSS, try to apply JavaScript, try to use HTML. So all the HTML, CSS, JavaScript we can apply. So external CSS and external JavaScript you need to apply. Okay, so try to do it. So if not, then I will explain tomorrow each and everything. Okay, so now we will move to the self-invoking function. So how many examples you have covered? Sixth example, right? That one. Okay, now this is seventh example of functions. Self-invoking function. So self-invoking function is also called as so immediately invoked function expression. Okay, self-invoking function is also called as IIFE. So immediately invoked function expression. So immediately invoked function expression is one of the design pattern. So design pattern means what? So if you get the same problem again and again, so we will find out the solution. So reoccurring the same problem. So for that, so gang of 4 guys, they have introduced some design patterns for this reoccurring problems. Okay. So if you want to go for higher level, this would be mandatory. Okay, fine. So now, so these functions call automatically. So no need to call explicitly. So internally, these self-invoking functions may be anonymous or named function. So they can be self-invoking functions can be anonymous or not. Okay. So now how to use it, this one. So we know this one. So this is the syntax we have already discussed, or we can use. So either first approach or we can use second approach. Okay, how to write it? So just, sorry. So just we have to write function. So here we will write console.log. So what will happen here? So this function, no need to call, automatically it will print the hello. So because of this self-invoking function. Okay, so for example, if I pass 2, 3, so here a comma b, so then we have to do it a plus b. So it will display, so 5 value automatically at the time of function declaration only, it will invoke. So no need to call explicitly from somewhere else, right? So this is nothing but, so we will call it as so self-invoking function or immediately invoked function expression. So now we will write this type of thing. Previous example we have seen, right, factorial. So we will see the same example here. Same example only I'm trying to write again from starting onwards. Okay, so just var result, something we can use compute factorial something. So this one, okay, or otherwise why we have to write it once more time. So you know this thing, right? So how to do this one? Just we have to provide the grouping. So until a, so that particular this thing. So what is this thing? So 5 factorial we required. So then no need to call these all things, right? So just we have to print that factorial value result. So no need to call, directly you can print factorial, we will get so that 5 factorial result and it will return that value and store it into this variable. So save. Okay, let me change the value. So something 4. 24. 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Okay, so this is the way. Just I did not do anything, just I have applied grouping, then I have applied the again, so this grouping, so passed the parameter. So if you want to pass, add, so add operation, we are very familiar with this one, right? Number 1, number 2, return number 1 plus number 2, so 4 comma something 6. So the here and so it will display 10. Okay, so this is the way we have to use so IIFE, but this approach we should not use in the advanced level. So what's happening here? If you want to maintain private variables outside, if you don't want to use, so then we will go for IIFE. Okay, but if you want to go for pure JavaScript level projects, then we may use this approach. But if you want to go for the so advanced level Angular, React, Vue.js, so then we should not use this IIFE. Okay, fine. So just write down this example. Okay, or otherwise if you want to previous example, you can do it that compute factorial related things. Okay, so fine. So now we will discuss about callback function. Just I will give you the intro. So tomorrow I will discuss a little bit more about callback function. So that is eighth one. So these all are functions examples, callback functions. So I will give you theory. Tomorrow I will explain. Okay. So what is callback function? So we know one function. So I want to pass a comma b comma c comma d something. So I want to pass add one number. So this is not add. If you think add, then maybe only digits. Okay, 10 string. So then C value may be Boolean and D value may be function something. So this D value is accepting this anonymous function, right? So this is nothing but callback function. Then how the code will execute inside this function? Console.log, some Chiru I have provided. Okay, some business logic is there, but how it will print? So this D indirectly here, so A equal to 10, B equal to Chiru, C equal to how much? True. D equal to function. Okay, so this function inside we are writing console.log. Okay, so if you when it will execute and it will display Chiru. So normally, if you did not call this function, then generally we know this is similar to the so anonymous function expression, right? So how to call this anonymous function expression? By using reference variable. So this is nothing but callback functions. But sometimes what happen, so this function whole thing we will assign into one variable where so my function, oh sorry, so where a equal to something that function we will write it. So this is we know the variable again dynamic values, right? So then you can replace Oh, already it is A is there. Okay, something king. So that king is you have to provide here. So now indirectly we are using. So now D equal to king. That king is indirectly this function like that. Okay, sometimes what happened, so even if you did not specify this king, even if you provide a named function here, king, so then also you can pass it here. But our target is, so this is anonymous function, right? So that anonymous function, so you can think this one. Oh, sorry. Oh, this is not add my fund. So my func, so we are passing this anonymous function. So this anonymous function is nothing but here. So call back. So why call back they have called? Because this is the main function. That main function business logic, we have to do it first. For example, I'm writing only A, B, comma, D. So I'm writing A, B, so 10, comma 20. I'm writing business logic first, A plus B. So console.log A plus B, some business logic I have written. So that is related to the main function. After that, so that callback function will execute. So that's why call first this one, call back this one. So that's why we will call it as callback functions. Okay, so generally these callback functions provided by the JavaScript already predefined to. One is set timeout and second one is the set interval. Okay, those two are predefined callback functions provided by the JavaScript API. So we will discuss all these things tomorrow. Okay, so please try to do that calculator. So if not, I will explain tomorrow. Okay, fine. Thank you guys. So we will meet again tomorrow. So do you have any questions? You can ask me if you have any questions. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you guys. Bye-bye.